Hi guys, so today I thought I would share with you what my reading plans are for April, or at least what I hope to get to out of all the books that I have available to me, because I keep ordering books. My husband has even gotten to the point where he's like, why are you getting more books in the mail? You should read these first. And I do read my books that I order, so really, it's fine that I keep ordering books. It's totally fine. So I'm just going to share with you what my reading plans are for April. These books that I've picked out to share with you are just the ones that I'm pretty sure that I want to get to this month. And anything else I get to will come after these, once I've read these. And then, of course, I'm always listening to an audiobook. And I don't have that in this. I don't have my audiobooks planned out. I just usually look for those as I need them, because I listen to audiobooks not as I'm driving now, although I will need to go to the grocery store in a couple days. So I guess I'll get to finally listen to an audiobook in my car. But these days I listen to audiobooks mostly while I'm washing dishes and showering even, and just whenever I get a chance and when I need to use my hands, but I want to be also listening to something at the same time. So these are the books that I for sure want to get to. So I'm just going to pick these up and start showing them to you. The first one is When Mothers Kill, Interviews from Prison by Michelle Oberman and Cheryl L. Meyer. And I actually started reading this book months ago. I think it might have been back in October. I got up to page 75, and then I don't know why I set it down. I think I wanted to participate in a readathon or something that was going on, so I needed to set it aside to read some other books, some fiction books. So I recently actually just restarted this. I think I'm on page like 35 now, because I couldn't remember. I couldn't remember much at the beginning of the book. But this is a nonfiction book, but just the cover's pretty self-explanatory. It's about mothers who kill their children, and this author, or these authors, go to the Ohio women's prison, I don't know the exact name of it, and interview several women about why they're in prison and what happened. And what is particularly interesting about this is it's not just focused around their stories of killing their children. I would consider this like a deeply psychological analysis type of book, where the parts are really broken down into, of course, the first initial stories from each woman is how their child died, and it's only shared from their perspective. There's no court documents or transcripts in here, so you're really only hearing from the women's side of the story. And then authors also go back and interview them about particular parts of their life, like their mother-daughter relationship, their father-daughter relationship, and also the romantic relationships. That's the part that I'm up to now. And then just kind of, as you're reading about these women's stories, you get a little story from them in the book, and then say the next couple of pages will be like an analysis of and statistics based around what you've just read. It's just really interesting. It's definitely more academic feeling than like thrillery, like a true crime. It doesn't read like a true crime, which is nice. Not every book needs to be what's that word that they use for in some books, like tragiporn or something like that, or tragic porn, or gore porn, or I'm wanting to use the word porn. I know I've heard it somewhere, but basically where the violence takes center stage. And in this book, the violence does not take center stage, despite the fact that the whole premise of it is violent. So it's just an interesting take on it, and I hope to finish it this month and give you guys a wrap up on that and let you know my complete thoughts on it at the end of the month. Let's see. The next book that I hope to get to is a recent purchase from Book Outlet, and that was Watching You by Lisa Jewell. And this, I don't know too much about. I just know it was a thriller, and I really want to focus on some just juicy fiction this month, just things that are going to be really distracting for me. And this one, from what I gather of the synopsis, is about an affluent English neighborhood where doctors, lawyers, basically rich people live. And I think a murder or a crime of some sort happens, and it's basically like maybe a pointing fingers type scenario, where no one knows who done it, and then you just the characters start realizing that, I don't know. The cover synopsis was very vague, but from what I gather, no one quite knows each other like they thought they did. And it's even more surprising because it's an affluent neighborhood and rich people don't do bad things, right? Another book outlet purchase, The Couple Next Door by Sherry Lapina. And this one, what is it about? Oh, this is about some parents who have one child, and then tragedy basically strikes and the parents are blamed. So I assume something has happened to the child, and then they sort of learn about each other, that they had more secrets from each other than they could have ever guessed. And a lot of things, weird things come to light, and I guess we're spending the whole book trying to figure out what happened to the child and who did it. Because when bad stuff happens to children, it's usually the family, right? And yeah, this just sounds really sufficiently distracting. I need a nice mystery thriller, and that's what this sounds like. And that's what I want to be about this month. I want to read just some juicy stuff, but like well written, please. Because I've definitely read juicy books in the past that are very entertaining, but not anything super memorable or that you would want a classic copy of displayed on your shelf. Okay, for a second here, I was trying to figure out what was wrong with this book. I was trying to remember where I bought it from, and I think this is also a book outlet book, I think, except I put tape on it, and so it made me think, oh, did I buy it from Thrift Books and it had a rip? But I actually think this book is brand new from Book Outlet as well. But one of my kids ripped it already, so I put some tape on it to repair the rip. So now it definitely looks like it could have come from Thrift Books. But this one is Fatal Throne, The Wives of Henry VIII Tell All. And who is this by? Oh, and this is by multiple authors. There's M.T. Anderson, Jennifer Donnelly, Candace Fleming, Stephanie Hemphill, Deborah Hopkinson, Linda Sue Park, and Lisa Ann Sandel. That's interesting. So this book, from what I gather, is the perspectives of all the different wives of Henry VIII, Henry Tudor, all the different wives he had, and I guess it's written by different authors to really give them their own voice. So I think the way this book is set up is you're reading from diary entries from his wives as they appear in his life. So this one is Jane Seymour. So yeah, you're just hearing from all the different wives. Obviously, they didn't leave behind his wives. Unfortunately, they didn't leave behind a bunch of real diary entries. So this is historical fiction, of course, but I think it's just an interesting concept, and I can't wait to read it. I actually picked this up and decided to buy it because Emily over our schooling has talked about this several times, and it just sounds interesting, and I would like to know more about the Tudors. I watched the Tudors on TV, and I love the show. It's an older show. I think it might have been on HBO or something like that. I watched it with my husband, and I loved it. Very well done, I thought. So since I like that, I figured I might like to read about a little bit of the Tudors as well. And the last book that I really hope to get to this month, which I actually am the most intimidated by, interestingly enough, is Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. And I don't know exactly what is intimidating about this for me, except for maybe because it's a classic, and so I'm scared that I'm just so used to lately these fast-paced, newer reads that older books kind of make me think they're going to be boring or slow, and I know that's not the case at all. I've read classic books in the past that are very much like a slow build and very eloquent and flowery and don't have salacious things going on in them, but are still really interesting. So I shouldn't be intimidated. I should get to this. I think I bought this from Book Outlet as well, and it's a beautiful cover, but this one I don't know. I'm very familiar with Little Women. I know the movie's been out, and I want to see it really bad. But as far as the story, I just know it's about four sisters who are growing up in New England during the Civil War. And obviously that's a time where women, their options for work are very limited. And it's just a story, I think, of love and war and sisters and just life. So yeah, I want to get to this. I really, really do. Even though it scares me a little bit, it might be the last one that I get to unless I'm feeling really brave. But those are the books I hope to get to in the month of April. Let me know if you've read any of them and what you thought. And of course, as always, feel free to leave suggestions below if you think that I should read anything else, especially based off what I've shown you. But I hope you guys are all doing well, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all again really soon.